So today I want to talk about a topic that's kind of hard for me to give you guys an answer to, but it's a question that I get all the time, and it's how to wear open-backed anything. How can I wear my open-back dress for prom? How can I wear, an open-back bikini or something like that when I'm going swimming in the summer? How can I wear a tank top or something like that with acne? And I understand that's a big issue. For me, my acne just wasn't on my face, it was on my chest, it was all over my back, it was even on my butt. And I understand how it feels. You can put a little foundation here, it's easy to put foundation here and conceal and cover it up. But when it comes to the back, well, first off, it's really hard to reach back there. And second off, it's really difficult to walk around and have people staring at that. And a lot of people have asked me, how are you confident doing it? And I only have a couple of tips. They may not be the best, but I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. If you found a way to kind of combat this, if you have a video response, I'd love to see it. But I wanted to give you some of my tips and tricks to kind of helping that out. The first thing is to actually let down your hair. That might seem kind of silly, and if you don't have long hair then it won't really work, but if you let down your hair, it can cover just enough of the back that it's not a huge issue. There still may be a couple pimples on your shoulders, but if your hair is down and if it's long enough to cover pretty well, people really are not going to notice your pimples all that much, and your hair will create a good buffer. Another way to use like a piece of clothing or something to cover it up is to use like a shawl, whether it's a really loose cardigan or even something like just like a little pullover jacket. The problem with that is that for summer that can be really, really warm, they have some kind of shawls that are just like little vests, but they're crochet, they're like a knit, so technically you can see through them, but people, when they see you wearing them, they don't like look through for your pimples. Pimples are really hard to notice as long as you have some sort of covering, even if the covering is one of those knitted or see-through textures. Another option is a scarf you just kind of throw over the back. Now those are some ways to kind of hide it with clothing, but what if you're going to be in a swimsuit? What if you're going to be in like a dress for prom and you want to have your hair up? I understand that that can be an issue. Now, it's really difficult to like reach back there and stuff. One of my favorite things to do is airbrushing. And airbrushing is what I use in the summer all the time, especially for like, body acne back there. Airbrush, it's basically liquid in air form. It's like airbrush makeup if you've ever played with like those little airbrush things like as a kid. It's like that, only it's a way of applying cosmetics. And there are a couple of different ones. Sometimes they're a little bit more expensive, but there are some that are cheaper. There are some that are closed and some that have like an open top that you drop the stuff into. You're gonna need to get one that has a closed top, because if it's an open top and there's liquid in there, obviously you can't turn it upside down because all the liquid would fall out. So if you're reaching towards your back, you want to get one that is kind of a closed container. And basically you can kind of spray this on and airbrush. You don't need to set it all the time. You don't really need to powder it. Some of it is waterproof, so just kind of search out there for what's right for you. Another option is to have a friend or someone else apply concealer. Now that can be kind of hard to ask, but if you're going to a huge prom date, or if you're going to, the beach or something, and you have someone who you trust, maybe a mom, maybe a dad, brother, sister, friend, just say, hey, here's some concealer. Can you just put this on the biggest spots? It's not full coverage foundation, but at least that covers up a little bit more. And of course, if you put your hair down at the beach and if you wear some sort of cute kind of knitted, shanky, over sweater thing, people really aren't going to notice all that much. The reason that I like concealer for the back is because if you do not have access to an airbrush machine, concealer is pretty low cost and you don't have to sit there with like a goop of foundation on your hand and try to like scrub all this stuff in. The very last tip is something that's a little bit different, and again, it's kind of one of those, it's just kind of a given, but a lot of people aren't okay with, and it's just to be confident with it. And before I even thought about covering it up with hair, covering it up with airbrush makeup, covering it up with a shawl, that's what I did, is that I just stuck with it. I was like, this stinks. I have to live with it though. And honestly, that's what I do nowadays. I really don't bother putting makeup on my back or things like that. Of course, if it is a prom or a special event, I would say go for airbrush or concealer. But even to the beach, I'm just like, you know what? I hope that people will look at my face. I'm going to try to talk to somebody face to face. I'm not going to like turn my back to them while I'm talking to them, you know what I mean? And I'll be honest, as bad and as terrible as my acne and my acne scars are on my back, I have never had, other than my brother, who's just a little jerk boy, I have never had anyone point it out or complain about it or even see it as far as I understand. So, and that's what kind of taught me everyone is so concerned with themselves, they're not going to notice me. Yeah, I have back acne. acne, but that girl over there is too worried that, you know, her big toe doesn't look right in her sandals, and that person over there is too worried that, you know, their belly's hanging out of a bikini, and that person over there is trying to go catch his son and make sure that his son doesn't, like, I don't know, throw sand at other kids. Like, they don't care about you as much as you do. You are your biggest critic. So those are some of my tips and tricks. They may not be the best, but they're what I use, they're what I deal with, and I wanted to share that with you. So if you guys have other tips and tricks, please post a video response, post them in the comments, and really just help everybody else out. I love you guys so much. I cannot wait to see your videos, and I will talk to you all soon. Love you guys. Bye.